The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, casting a serene glow over the rural landscape. Leaves crunched under their feet as Beth and Emma walked home from school, their steps in sync with the rhythm of the forest. Laughter filled the air, their voices echoing through the quiet countryside, blending with the sounds of nature. Reaching the riverbank, they paused, their playful banter fading into a comfortable silence as they took in the tranquil scene. It was time to part ways, a daily ritual that always felt bittersweet. Emma skipped ahead, her laughter trailing behind her like a melody in the evening air. She reached the edge of the old wooden bridge first, a familiar landmark that held countless memories. The bridge, a familiar landmark since their childhood, groaned under her weight, its age showing in every creak. Suddenly, there was a deafening crack. The aged wood splintered, sending shards flying. Emma, caught off guard, tumbled through the gaping hole, her scream piercing the air. Beth watched in horror as her sister disappeared into the rushing water below, her heart pounding in her chest. Without a second thought, she plunged in after her, driven by sheer instinct and love. The icy water closed over their heads, the cold shock taking their breath away. The current, strong and unforgiving, swept them both away, pulling them deeper into the unknown. Years later, I found myself drawn to the small town where Beth and Emma had lived. The memories of our childhood adventures and the stories we shared seemed to echo through the streets. My family and I were visiting relatives. Their old house nestled on the outskirts of town. It was a place filled with nostalgia, yet tinged with a sense of melancholy. The house stood silent, almost brooding, at the end of a long, winding driveway. Its presence was imposing, as if it had witnessed countless untold stories. It seemed to hold its breath, guarding secrets unknown. The air around it felt thick with history, and perhaps with sorrow. Despite its picturesque facade, an unsettling feeling clung to the place, a cold shiver down my spine. The beauty of the house was overshadowed by an inexplicable sense of dread. As the days passed, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. It was as if unseen eyes were constantly observing my every move. Shadows seemed to dance at the edge of my vision. They flickered and shifted, always just out of clear sight, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Whispers brushed past my ears, too faint to decipher. They were like ghostly murmurs, hinting at secrets long buried. I dismissed it as exhaustion, the stress of city life clinging to me. Perhaps it was just my mind playing tricks after the hustle and bustle of urban living. But deep down, a seed of unease had been planted. It grew with each passing day, a constant reminder that something was not quite right.
The first night, I woke with a start. The room was dark, the only light filtering in from the hallway. In the shadows, I could have sworn I saw a figure standing at the foot of the bed. It was tall and slender, its form indistinct in the darkness. My heart pounded in my chest, my breath catching in my throat. Before I could reach for the lamp switch, the figure vanished. I lay awake for what felt like hours, my mind racing. Had I imagined it? Was it the lack of sleep playing tricks on me? Or was there something more, something sinister, lurking in the shadows of the house? My niece, Lily, a bright and imaginative 5-year-old, was the first to mention the giggling. She would often stop mid-play, her head cocked to the side, listening intently. "They're laughing," she'd whisper, her eyes wide with wonder. When questioned, she'd point to an empty corner of the room. The girls, they're playing hide and seek. Her parents dismissed it as an active imagination, but I couldn't help but feel a chill run down my spine. The house, once filled with the warmth of family, now felt heavy, burdened by something unseen.
One evening, as the sun began its descent, a haunting melody drifted through the house. It was a simple tune, played on a piano that sat untouched in the corner of the living room. The melody was melancholic, filled with a deep, lingering sadness. It seemed to seep from the walls themselves, wrapping the house in an ethereal embrace. We all froze, our conversations dying abruptly. My eyes were drawn to the piano keys, but they remained still. There was no logical explanation for the music, no rational answer to the mystery unfolding before our eyes.
The following night, I saw her, a fleeting glimpse, a whisper of movement in the hallway. A young woman with long, flowing hair, her back turned as if looking out the window at the end of the hall. She was there one moment, gone the next. My breath caught in my throat, my heart pounding against my ribs. It was the same figure I had seen in my room, but this time I was certain it was no figment of my imagination. The air grew thick, heavy with a presence that sent shivers down my spine. The house, once a place of comfort, now felt like a prison, closing in on me with its secrets. Driven by an unsettling curiosity, I began to delve into the history of the house, a place shrouded in mystery and whispers. I scoured local archives, poring over dusty records and faded newspaper clippings, each piece of information adding to the puzzle. It was in a forgotten corner of the library, amidst the neglected shelves, that I stumbled upon the truth, hidden away for decades. An old news article, dated decades ago, told a tragic tale that had been long forgotten by the townsfolk. Two sisters, Beth and Emma, had drowned in the river just beyond the old wooden bridge, their lives cut short in a moment of tragedy. The article described the girls in vivid detail, their laughter, their bond, and their untimely demise that left a scar on the community. The words leapt off the page, painting a vivid picture of their last moments, a haunting image that stayed with me. It was a chilling echo of the whispers and shadows that haunted the house, a place where the past seemed to linger. The giggling children, the haunting melody, the fleeting apparitions, all suddenly made terrifying sense, as if the house itself was a living memory of their presence. The weight of the truth settled over me, heavy and suffocating. The house, I realized, was not haunted by malevolent entities, but by the echoes of sorrow, the lingering grief of two young lives cut short. They were not there to frighten, but to seek solace, to find peace in the place they once called home. Their laughter, once a source of joy, now carried a tinge of sadness, a reminder of their lost innocence. The music, a reflection of their shared passion, now echoed with the pain of their unfulfilled dreams, and their apparitions, no longer terrifying, seemed to yearn for acknowledgement, for their story to be told. Leaving the house that day, I carried with me a profound sense of sadness and a newfound understanding. The haunting, I realized, was not a curse, but a solemn reminder of the fragility of life, the enduring power of love and loss. Beth and Emma's story, once lost to time, now resonated within me, a somber melody that would forever echo in the chambers of my heart.